I'm here witnessing heavenly scenes. This is part of the South African journey, because South Africa is not just politics and never was. The South African journey is a pilgrimage of the soul, a mission to restore and reclaim a country that has been brutalized and disfigured, not by colonizers this time, but by its own so-called liberators. Since 1994, the ANC has wrapped itself around the nation like an octopus, sinking its tentacles into every institution, municipality, and corner of daily life. The question in 2025 is no longer whether the ANC has destroyed South Africa. That debate is long dead. The only debate left is to what extent. At the South African journey, we hold an unflinching view. The destruction was total. We are not here to whimper or retreat. We are here to rise, arms locked, spirits united, to wrestle this country from that destruction, to heal it, and to reset it. We see ourselves as the Good Samaritan on the side of the road, binding up the wounds of a man left half dead by those who claim to liberate him. We are here to restore what still lives beneath the rubble. We are here because we still believe in the soul of South Africa, is to catalog its great natural and cultural wonders, echoes of a mighty, diverse nation that once knew itself. Even these landscapes have been insulted by the ideology of exclusion. Slogans like Pan-Africanism, now weaponized to tell whites to go to Europe and Indians to go back to Asia, as if South Africa were some tribal relic instead of a universal land. But the land speaks otherwise. It still sings. My first stop is Lake Chrissie, a place soaked in beauty and layered in untold stories, both natural and cultural. I'll report back when the sun rises again. Until then, stay awake, stay ready.
South Africa is being raped alive. How crooks, cadres, and cowards are bleeding a nation to death. Introduction. This is not just a message, it's a movement. This book is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for political fence-sitters, academic, cowards, or soft men who still believe we can reason with thieves. It is for those who are awake and furious. For those who watch this country burn while being told to be patient. For those who remember when the taps still ran, the schools still taught, the clinics still healed, and men still worked. Before all of it was looted in the name of freedom, this is not just a message, it's a movement of clarity, of refusal, of raw truth over rhetoric, of building over begging, of action over applause. This book was written to kill illusions, to expose the scam for what it is. To show you, without apology, how a liberation movement turned into a mafia, how democracy became a disguise, and how South Africa's soul was auctioned off while the people clapped. But this book is not just a lament, it's a weapon. If you're looking for a motivational pep talk, close this now. If you're ready to build from ash and fight without asking for permission, then turn the page. You are not alone. There are more of us. Quiet for now. But watching, planning, rising. The time of slogans is over. The time of the strong has come. Welcome to the reckoning. What follows is fire. Chapter 1. Idiot South Africa is not dying. It's being murdered. Not slowly, not quietly, brutally in broad daylight by the very people who promised to liberate it. They don't use guns. They use tenders. They don't wear balaclavas. They wear suits and ANC regalia. They don't hide in shadows. They sit in boardrooms, sign invoices, and laugh on golf courses. The country is not collapsing from natural causes. It's being hacked to pieces by a mafia of politically connected idiots. People who wouldn't qualify to run a spaza shop, but are in charge of Eskom, Transnet, Denel, and your tap water. Why? Because in this so-called democracy, loyalty matters more than competence. Can he do the job? No. But he chanced the right slogan, so he gets the job. Welcome to the Republic of Looters. Every state-owned company has become a feeding trough. For the pigs in power. They don't even bother hiding it anymore. Why should they? The unions protect them. The ANC rewards them. The president pardons them with silence. The media sanitizes it with struggle credentials. The result? Dirty water, rolling blackouts, broken trains, collapsing clinics, schools without toilets, and millions of people sitting on pavements, jobless, hopeless, watching their country rot while the connected fly business class, cadres first country. Last, these crooks were not hired to build. They were planted to extract. SOEs are not institutions anymore. They are cash machines for political syndicates. You think the CEO of Eskom cares about your electricity? No! He's there to sign off on inflated coal contracts and protect the untouchables. My ass, what kind of democracy protects thieves more than teachers? What kind of liberation movement chains its people to poverty while singing victory songs? This is not democracy. This is elite capture disguised as freedom. And while they loot, you and the citizen are told to keep calm, be patient, wait for change, vote for the same liars again. Enough. It's time to stop whispering. This is not politics. This is war. And the enemy wears the face of freedom. Chapter 2. The water is gone, but the lies still flow. You open your tap. Nothing. You walk to the street. The water truck never came. You. A boil muddy water. Your child gets sick, and then on TV some smooth-talking ANC minister in a clean suit tells you, "We are committed to service delivery." Bullshit. Water was never the problem. Leadership. South Africa is not a desert. We have rivers, dams, rainfall, and engineers. What we don't have are leaders who care. What we have are looters who sign water contracts with their cousins, girlfriends, and fake companies, who get paid for pipes that are never laid. Millions of rands go into bulk water projects. You know what that means? A fancy phrase that hides corruption, delays, and missing millions. And now people drink from puddles like animals. Not in 1992. In 2025, this is what the liberation movement gave us. No water, no shame, just press conferences and excuses. The tap wasn't. Always dry, let's speak truth. Under apartheid, I lived in a black village. The taps worked. The water ran cold and clear. You didn't need a bucket and prayer to survive. But at least the system had efficiency. Now, the same pipes are still there. But they've been stolen, neglected, or contracted to death. The tanker mafia. The water crisis isn't a failure. It's a business model. Create a crisis, loot the repair budget, blame apartheid, then rent out water tankers to the government at inflated prices, send brown water to desperate people, take selfies giving them relief, get re-elected. This is not service. On delivery, this is state-engineered desperation turned into profit. Cadres don't drink the same water. They drink bottled water in parliament. They bathe in hotel showers. Their kids don't queue at dry taps. They study abroad. But you beg? For water. You fight your neighbor for a bucket. And still, you're told to clap hands and vote. Where there is no water, there should be rage. If the taps don't work, don't riot in your own township. March to the municipality. March to the luxury homes. March to the source. Because this isn't nature's drought. This is a man-made war in the pool. Enough silence. South Africa is thirsty, not just for water, but for justice, for accountability, for a new kind of leadership, because the water may be gone. But the lies? They still flow from the mouths of polished cowards in high office. Chapter 3. The school is still there, but learning died. The building is still standing. The gates are still painted green. The bell still rings at 8 a.m., but the soul of that school is dead. Once upon a time, a classroom was sacred. There was a time when black children sat in classrooms under apartheid because they had teachers who were soldiers of the mind. Teachers who stayed after class for free. Teachers who made you read aloud until your throat burned. Teachers who saw your potential before you did. They didn't have smart boards or TikTok. They had discipline, chalk, and mission. And it worked. Today, it's a circus now walk into a public school. Kids smoking behind the toilets, teachers arriving drunk or not at all, 13-year-olds who can't spell their own name, a principal who signs off on inflated stationery tenders, no textbooks in March, matrix dance, but no library, and you ask, how did we get here? The answer, cadre education. We no longer appoint educators, we appoint comrades. Unions decide who becomes a principal. Politics decides who runs the district. Contracts decide who builds the toilets, then disappears. No one is fired. No one is accountable. The kids are failing because they're poor. No, they're failing because the system is infected with rot. The ANC didn't fix the system. They hijacked it. They didn't take a broken system and repair it. They took a semi-functioning one and turned it into a patronage network. Textbook contracts for cousins, feeding schemes for party donors, teaching posts sold under the table. Meanwhile, kids sit in classrooms with no future but unemployment and slogans. Children are not being taught. They're being abandoned. No discipline, no phonics, no maths, no ambition, no future. They leave. School more confused than when they entered. And still, the minister smiles for the cameras every January, praising a 70% pass rate that is based on cooked numbers and lowered standards. You can't rebuild a nation on decayed brains. There is no dignity and fake freedom. You can't chant liberation while millions of children are being intellectually murdered. You can't build a country with youth who can't read, can't write, and think work is oppression. The apartheid government broke bodies, but the ANC, they broke minds. You don't need new classrooms. You need new leadership because the school building still stands. But the dream, it died. And until we say it loud, without fear, without sweeteners, South Africa will keep producing broken children for broken systems. The ANC is a mafia, not a political party. Stop calling it a liberation movement. Stop calling it a ruling party. Stop calling it a government. It is a mafia, not metaphorically, not figuratively, literally. What started in the fire of resistance has mutated into a syndicate with uniforms, a crime family with struggle songs, a cartel that doesn't sell drugs, it sells your country. This is how you know it's a mafia. Loyalty is prized over skill. Silence is rewarded. Truth tellers are eliminated. Power is used to protect the family, not the people. Contracts are more sacred than the Constitution. Those who leave the family are treated as traitors. The ANC doesn't care about policy. It doesn't care about ideology. It doesn't care about freedom, dignity, or justice. It cares about control, access, silence, and cash. They don't debate. They discipline, say something uncomfortable in a branch meeting. You're removed. Expose corruption in public. You're isolated. Investigate too deep. You get reassigned, suspended, or buried. Ask too many questions, and you'll be labeled reactionary, counter-revolutionary, white monopoly stooge. These are not political terms. They are coded threats. The ANC doesn't argue. It enforces omerta, silence of the family. It's not about the people. It's about the pie. The ANC exists to protect the network, the tenders, the appointments, the insider deals, the outflow of stolen public money through private hands. The masses are a vote farm, a slogan audience, a defensive shield when the heat comes. While the people struggle to buy bread, ANC elites are building mansions, flying private, sending their children abroad, funding fake NGOs and media units to protect the brand. It has no future plan, only survival tactics. The mafia doesn't plan for 20 years ahead. It plans how to survive the next scandal, the next leak, the next arrest, the next failed. Audit does so it, rotates faces, uses race to divide, uses history to distract, uses elections to launder its image. It doesn't grow, it feeds, it doesn't lead, it extracts, it doesn't serve, it protects itself. Every structure has been infected. The Youth League, a front for rising gangsters, MK Party, a family, feud disguised as ideology, cadre deployment, legalized nepotism. The NEC, a round table of bosses carving up spoils, provincial structures, local dons controlling votes, contracts, and security networks. This is not politics. This is La Cosa Nostra with a liberation logo. If you leave the mafia, you must be crushed. Think of every reformer who tried to clean up the ANC, purged, assassinated, destroyed in the media, bankrupted, forgotten. You don't just resign from this thing. You either play along, stay quiet, or become a problem they will remove. The ANC doesn't forgive disloyalty. It punishes deviation with surgical precision. This is not a party that can be saved. It must be severed reform. It's a fantasy. the beast is too far gone. Its brain is rotted. Its blood is poisoned. Its tentacles are deep. You don't reform a mafia. You expose it. You starve it. You isolate it. You break it. You replace it. No more romance. Call it what it is. ANC is not your uncle's party. It is not the moral force that fought apartheid. That movement died on the tarmac of Dubai, in the boardrooms of Eskom, and in the silence after Babita was shot. What's left is a cartel in yellow t-shirts. And until South Africans are brave enough to say it, they will never be brave enough to defeat it. They call it the best constitution in the world. They say it's progressive, visionary, elegant. Lawyers quote it like scripture. Judges guard it like a shrine. Politicians wave it like a holy relic. Meanwhile, criminals laugh and loot because the South African Constitution has become a golden gate for gangsters wearing suits. The people are told the Constitution will save you. But what they don't tell you is this. The Constitution guarantees rights, but not results. It defends dignity, but not delivery. It enables freedom, but not functionality. It is beautiful on paper, and impotent in practice. Here's the brutal reality. You can burn our 10 billion in an SOE, and the Constitution will protect your right to a fair trial for 15 years. You can rape the public purse and run for re-election. You can collapse a municipality and still earn a pension. You can kill a whistleblower and walk free on lack of evidence. The Constitution gives you rights, but it gives criminals cover. If they have lawyers, comrades, or time, the rich weaponize it, the poor wait on it, the corrupt hire senior counsel and delay justice for a decade. The poor wait for justice in queues outside legal aid offices. You think it's a protection? It's a fortress for the elite and a waiting room for the rest. Justice is not slow. It's strangled, you're told. The wheels of justice turn slowly. That's not true. They don't turn at all when the hands on the wheel are dirty. What we have isn't justice. It's a procedural theater. The corrupt don't fear arrest. They fear exposure. Not because they'll go to jail, but because their image will be bruised. The law protects their process, not your pain. The Constitution is holy, but governance is unholy. You can't eat Section 27. You can't drink the Bill of Rights. You can't send your child to school in Chapter 2. These are words. And in a nation of wolves, words don't stop the blood from flowing. South Africa doesn't need more laws. It needs enforcement with fire. You want justice? Stop hiding behind due process when everyone knows who's looting. Stop quoting the Constitution like a spell book and start jailing the demons. Fire, arrest, prosecute. Don't pontificate. Because right now the Constitution is not a shield for the people. It is a curtain for cowards. A law that can punish. The guilty is no better than no law at all. Let's stop pretending. This isn't rule of law. It's rule of lawyers, rule of loopholes, rule of stall tactics, and rule of silence. If the Constitution can strike fear into thieves, then it has become a monument, not a weapon. The ANC is no longer a liberation movement. It's a syndicate. It doesn't govern. It doesn't serve. It doesn't uplift. It feeds, protects, and silences, just like a mafia. Deals are done in hotel rooms. Money is moved through shell companies. Whistleblowers are executed. Enemies are destroyed politically or permanently. There are no comrades left, just contractors and kingpins. They wear struggle clothes, but speak in mafia codes. Deployment. Appoint our guys so we can eat. Added empowerment. Give tenders to the family. Transformation. Kick out the qualified, bring in the obedient. Radical economic freedom. Loot faster. Scream louder. Unity. Shut up. Protect the Don. Discipline, stay quiet, or we cut you off. It's not politics anymore. It's organized crime with a liberation logo, mafia rule in plain sight ministers with fake qualifications, municipalities with zero service but 300 contractors on payroll, health departments spending 50 million on fogging in empty offices, mayors driving Bentleys while the water's off, police guarding politicians, not the people, and still no jail. You try this with a taxi rank. They'll burn your car. But in politics, they promote you. That's not government. That's a crime family running a country into the ground. You leave the ANC, you lose the fee speak out, and you're exiled. Tell the truth, and your bank account freezes. Leak a document and your brakes fail on the highway. They don't need jail cells. They control the tenders. They don't use knives. They use budgets. They don't need blood. They use poverty. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu. The real power is not at Luthuli House. It's in hidden rooms. The real ANC is not in parliament. It's in WhatsApp groups, family foundations, Dubai meetings, secret business, forums, and old friends from struggle days who now run security companies, investment firms, and fixer networks. They don't shout Amandla anymore. They whisper, how much are we eating from this deal? The country was liberated, then captured from within. The ANC didn't lose the revolution. They sold it piece by piece. Sold the SOEs to friends, sold the tenders to cousins, sold the dream to the devil, sold the people for votes and applause. And now they wrap themselves in the flag like criminals hiding behind a priest's robe. They came with freedom. They leave with coffins. The ANC began with a vision. Now it ends as a syndicate, looting the bones of the country they once swore to serve. And if you still call this liberation, then you have not seen the faces of the hungry, the raped, the unemployed, the hopeless, standing outside closed clinics and broken taps while the comrades party in Santon. The octopus rules, not the man in the suit you see him on TV. Clean suit, gentle voice, polished phrases. You blame him, but pause, look deeper. Look at the system wrapped around his limbs. Look at the tentacles coiled around his throat. Look at the ink being sprayed while he smiles. He is not the killer. He is the hostage. The front-facing hostage of a regime that has become an octopus. The ANC with tentacles in every corner of this country. This is no longer a party. It's a creature. One tentacle controls procurement. One controls the unions. One squeezes the media. One handles parliament. One whispers in courtrooms. One feeds in municipalities. One wraps itself around SOEs. One crushes whistleblowers before they can speak. It does not sleep. It does not retire. It does not negotiate. It feeds. It silences. It multiplies. And the man in the suit, he tries to smile, tries to reform, but the tentacles won't let go. You cannot reform a parasite. You cannot lecture an octopus while it chokes the nation. You cannot reason with a monster that only understands power, protection, and plunder. From retired struggle veterans now turned deal makers, from business forums that function like local mobs, from backdoor NEC meetings where careers are traded like poker chips, from intelligence operatives who leak, watch, and eliminate. Power sits in WhatsApp groups. Power sits in Dubai vaults. Power sits in the invisible tentacles wrapping around every sphere of life. Because the ANC today is not about ideology. It is about self-preservation. It exists not to serve the people, but to protect its own feeding mechanism. That's why they rally behind corrupt comrades. That's why they silence internal critics. That's why they sabotage reform from within. The tentacles know if one falls, the whole body risks exposure. If you cut one tentacle, another grows back. This is what makes the ANC unstoppable through elections. You vote them out in one municipality. They form a coalition through bribery. You remove a corrupt official. They re-emerge in a different department. You expose a scandal. They appoint a task team to bury it. It's not a political party. It's a hydra, an octopus, a system of mutating self-protection with no central brain, just survival instinct. Spare the man, strike the beast. So yes, spare the man. Don't waste your breath on him. He's not the architect, he's the emblem. But if you love this country, strike the tentacles, expose the feeding tubes, cut the links between power and impunity, starve the creature. This is no longer a battle of party versus party. It is people versus parasite. And until the octopus is dismembered, South Africa will remain in its grip, choking, smiling, dying. The law is not a sword. It's the octopus's shield. They told us the Constitution was our highest weapon, that the law was the great equalizer, that in South Africa no one is above justice. They lied, not because the Constitution is weak, but because it has been wrapped in tentacles. The ANC octopus, the syndicate disguised as government, has turned the law into a hiding place, not a sword to punish criminals, but a shield to protect them. The people want justice. The octopus demands process. When you expose corruption, the people ask, will they be arrested? Will they go to jail? Will we get our money back? The system replies, we've launched a commission. We've referred it to the Hawks. We're following due process. Let's wait for the MPA. The court roll is full. What they mean is let the tentacles work. Let time pass. Let the anger cool. Let the trail die. The tentacles are in the justice system. The police don't investigate. They negotiate. The prosecutors don't charge. They calculate. The judges don't jail. They delay. The people cry for justice. But the system moves slower than death because it was never designed to deliver justice. It was hacked, turned into an endless maze where the guilty hide in process and the innocent rot in queues. One rule for them or another for you. If you steal bread, the system works. You get arrested, processed, sentenced, all in a week. But if you steal 200 million, you get suspended with full benefits. You lawyer up, you delay for 10 years. You run for office again because the tentacles protect their own. The law, I say, which should be a blade, has been turned into a velvet curtain behind which crooks hold meetings, shuffle positions, and wash their crimes. The courts are not broken. They're captured. You want justice? Then ask, who pays the senior counsel? Who funds the delays? Who coaches the witnesses? Who writes the NDAs? Who threatens the investigators? You'll find the answers in Cayman accounts, Dubai villas, and ANC-linked law firms with government. Contracts. The legal system is not neutral. It's tentacle number 7. Clean, clever, slow, and deadly. The Constitution protects the idea of justice, not the practice. The Constitution is beautiful, but in the hands of the octopus, it becomes a cloak for cowards, a trapdoor for the guilty, a performance for the media, a delay machine for those who never intend to answer. The law has become an accomplice, not because it's evil, but because the octopus knows how to wrap itself in it. Real justice doesn't need 15 years. It needs courage. We don't need more commissions. We don't need more court delays. We don't need more speeches from judges who dine with ministers. We need arrests, perp walks, asset seizures, permanent bans, criminal consequences, and we need men and women unchained from the tentacles, brave enough to cut, not consult. Until the law is wrestled back from the beast, it will serve the beast alone. The people are not anti-law. They're anti-lies. They're anti-protection rackets disguised as justice. Let's stop saying the law is working. No, the law is being worked by professionals who know how to turn justice into theater. Until we reclaim the courts from the octopus, there will be no justice. Only rituals that give cover to criminals in robes and regalia. The NC is a mafia, not a political party. Stop calling it a liberation movement. Stop calling it a ruling party. Stop calling it a government. It is a mafia, not metaphorically, not figuratively, literally. Uses race to divide, uses history to distract, uses elections to launder its image. It doesn't grow, it feeds, it doesn't lead, it extracts, it doesn't serve, it protects itself. Every structure has been infected. What comes after collapse? A blueprint for the brave. By now you see it clearly. The system is dead. The government is a carcass. The Constitution is a curtain. The ANC is a cartel. The state is a feeding trough. And the ballot box is a lie with a logo. But collapse is not the end. It is the clearing. The fire that burns the forest so new trees can rise. If you are still reading this, you are one of the brave. Now, here is your blueprint. Stop waiting for the state. The state is not coming to save you. It is not broken. It is working exactly as designed to extract, delay, deceive, and devour. So, don't wait for funding. Build with scraps. Don't wait for grants. Create value. Don't wait for training. Learn in motion. Don't wait for the police. Defend your street. Don't wait for justice. Expose the truth anyway. Don't wait for orders. Become your own leadership. The era of waiting is over. We are now in the age of doing. Build parallel systems. Real future lies in what is being built outside the system. Alternative schooling, start reading clubs, mass corners, coding collectives, local food production, gardens, co-ops, street sellers forming alliances, health circles, shared care, natural medicine, retired nurses giving knowledge, security groups, trusted men and women protecting neighborhoods, local currencies and trade, community exchange, no more dependency on banks. Don't reform the system. Replace it from below. Rewire the black mind. This is war, not just of economy or politics, but of psychology. The black mind has been programmed to obey politicians, to fear white success, to worship struggle. Nostalgia, to equate employment with survival, to hate ownership, to believe that suffering is a badge of righteousness. Burn that programming. Rebuild a mind that can build a civilization. Forge brotherhoods, not brands. Movements don't need perfect branding. They need loyalty, trust, courage, and shared discipline. Form brotherhoods of action, circles of builders, crews of doers, networks of skilled, no-nonsense men and women. No government will withstand 1,000 independent nodes of energy, trade, learning, security, and culture, operating with unity but no central control. This is organic revolution, not by bombs, but by doing what they cannot stop, creating. Pick a hill and die. On it, you don't need to save the whole country. You need to take one corner, one skill, one mission, and defend it with your life. Reclaim one school, make one street safe, feed one township, fix one generation of boys, start one library, teach one skill. That's how nations are. Rebuilt, not from policies, but from men and women with purpose. This is not a protest. It's a rebirth. Forget marches, forget hashtags, forget panel discussions. This is a people's renaissance, a savage rebuilding, a reawakening of grit, trade, work, skill, pride, and discipline. It will be rough, raw, sometimes lonely, often ignored, but it will work. Because when everything else has fallen, only the brave remain to lay the first stone. Final words. The new South Africa won't be voted in. It will be built, brick by brick, business by business, brother by brother, block by block. And those who wait will die waiting. But those who build, they will rise from the ashes as founders of a free people. Not of slogans, but of substance. Closing declaration. From ruins, we rise. We have told the truth, not the sanitized truth, not the academic truth, not the struggle-approved truth, the raw truth, the bleeding truth, the truth that gets you hated, feared, banned, but never proven wrong. This is South Africa in 2025, a country betrayed, a dream hijacked, a people gaslit, a nation fed slogans while it starves, and yet we do not end in despair. We end in defiance. We refuse to die waiting for saviors. We refuse to pray to parliaments. We refuse to ask permission to build. We will rise from the ruins, not with tears, but with teeth. Let it be written plainly. We reject a state that protects thieves. We reject a constitution that paralyzes justice. We reject elections that recycle liars. We reject parties that chant slogans while selling the country. We reject the mind that worships suffering. We reject the myth that black means broken. We will not fix this system. We will replace it from the dirt, from the bottom, from the brave. This is no longer a political book. It is a war cry. Final warning to the cowards. A final summons to the builders. You have no more excuses. No more illusions, no more time. Rise or be erased. This is not the end of the story. This is the rebirth of those who refuse to go down with the lie. We are done surviving. Now we build. Now we fight. Now we rise.
Pretoria's gardens, so peaceful and wide, with jacarandas blooming, nature's pure pride. History whispers in every old tree, a place of reflection where dreams can be free. Cape Town's mountains, embracing the sea, Table Mountain standing like a guardian to me. The vibrant colors of Boat Cop streets in every heartbeat. That soulful beat repeats from the vineyards to the beaches. What a sight to behold! In the essence of South Africa, our stories are told. Oh, Cape Town, you've captured my heart, a canvas of dreams where every shade plays a part. From Johannesburg's hustle to Durban's ease, in Pretoria's charm and Kimberley's peace. So here's to this land with a spirit so free. Every city, every town lives inside of me. In the soul of South Africa, our hearts intertwine. Together we'll shine through the sands of time.